Imagine standing at the edge of everything you've ever feared, your dreams on one side, your doubts on the other. This is where our story begins. And if you stay with me till the end, you'll walk away with something powerful, something that might change the way you see your own life. So before we begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because this story isn't just entertainment, it's a reminder that you have more strength inside you than you think. There was once a boy named Arham, born in a small town where people knew each other by name, and dreams rarely rose beyond the limits of daily struggle. Arham was quiet, gentle, and observant. While others his age were confident and outgoing, he carried a strange weight in his chest, like a voice whispering that he wasn't enough. He had ideas, he had talent, he had a heart that wanted to do something meaningful, but his own mind stood in his way. His father worked as a mechanic in a noisy roadside workshop, hands always stained with grease and exhaustion. His mother stitched clothes late into the night just to keep the house running. They never complained, but Arham could see the tiredness behind their smiles. He wanted to lift them out of that life. He wanted to build something, to become something. But fear, the kind that wraps around your thoughts like chains, kept stopping him. He loved drawing. Ever since he could hold a pencil, he would fill pages with shapes and faces, landscapes and dreams. His teachers praised him, but Arham shrugged it off. "It's nothing," he would say. Anyone could do it. He could never believe his own worth. Years passed, and Arham reached college. Surrounded by confident students, he felt even smaller. He didn't come from a wealthy family, he didn't wear branded clothes, and he didn't speak with the same boldness as others. He avoided competitions, skipped events, and stayed invisible. People liked him, but no one truly saw him. Then came the day that changed everything. One morning, the college announced an intercity art contest. The winner's work would be displayed across billboards, and they would receive a scholarship and recognition that could open doors for a lifetime. Arham's friends begged him to participate. His teachers encouraged him. Even his mother, who rarely interfered in his decisions, held his hand gently and said, "Arham, sometimes Allah gives a person a gift because they're meant to use it." But Arham's heart tightened. "Ami, I can't. There are so many better people. If I fail," she pressed a finger to his lips. "Beta, the only real failure is never trying." That night, Arham couldn't sleep. He stared at a blank canvas, breath trembling, thoughts scattered. What if he lost? What if people laughed? What if he embarrassed himself? The voice of doubt, the same voice that had followed him since childhood, grew louder and louder. But then, something shifted. His father walked into the room. Without saying a word, he placed his rough, tired hands on Arham's shoulders. "I never had big dreams for myself," he said quietly. "Life didn't give me many chances. But you have something special. Don't let fear steal it from you the way it stole things from me." Those words hit Arham deep. For the first time, he saw his father not as the unshakable pillar he always seemed to be, but as a man filled with unspoken regrets. And Arham realized, if he didn't fight for himself now, he might one day look back with the same sorrow. The next morning, with trembling hands, Arham registered for the contest. The days that followed were filled with emotional storms. He painted, erased, restarted, doubted himself, then painted again. At times he broke down, ready to quit. But every time, he remembered his parents' voices. And something inside him refused to give up. Finally, the day arrived. The hall was filled with artists far more confident than him, people with expensive supplies, perfect strokes, bold expressions. Arham felt like an imposter among giants. But he took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and let his heart guide his hands. His painting told a story, the story of a young boy climbing out of darkness, reaching toward a glowing light that represented hope. It was simple, but powerful. It wasn't just art, it was his life on canvas. When the results were announced, Arham prepared himself for disappointment. But then he heard it, his name. First place. The hall erupted in applause, and for the first time in his life, Arham felt something he had never felt before. He believed in himself. Months passed, and Arham's journey began to rise. His art landed him a scholarship. His work appeared on billboards. People interviewed him, admired him, respected him. But through it all, Arham stayed humble, because he knew where he came from, and he knew that the real victory wasn't the award, it was overcoming the voice that once told him he was worthless. Years later, Arham became a mentor for young artists who doubted themselves just as he once did. He traveled to schools, to villages, to places where children hid their dreams behind fear. He told them his story. He listened to theirs. And he reminded each one of them that the greatest power in the world isn't talent, luck, or opportunity. It's self-belief. Because once you believe in yourself, the world has no choice but to believe in you too. And if you're listening to this right now, maybe life has pushed you into your own shadows. Maybe you're doubting your worth, your dreams, or your future. But remember Arham. Remember his journey. And remember this: inside you, there is a strength you haven't even discovered yet. If you want more stories that remind you of who you truly are, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your story is still being written, and the best chapters are ahead.